My grandmother insulted my girlfriend in another language. She didn't know my girlfriend could understand her.
Oh, yo
It's gotta
soy
be the most embarrassing.
tambien.
I've been dating this girl, we'll call her Olivia, for 4 months. She is of Jamaican descent, but born in the U.S. I was born in Cuba, but came to the States when I was 1. By the way, this comes from Better Yak 2. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime on our subreddit. So I would say I'm very, very Americanized, though I grew up speaking Spanish at home. The area where we currently live doesn't have many Latino people, so it's not assumed that people understand Spanish. When I started dating her, I asked her if she could speak Spanish, and she said, not really, and that her Spanish and we didn't really address it further. I was really eager to introduce her to my family as I thought my mom and dad would love her and they had been asking about her for a while. So I invited them to our house for dinner with my mom, my dad, my grandmother, and my teenage brother. My abuela can't speak English much at all, but everyone else can. My abuela can be very judgmental and cranky and basically an a-hole, a giant little a-hole. At times, especially since her husband passed away and then she had a stroke 3 years ago. Rough. I told her before to be nice. However, I also told them she couldn't speak Spanish because that's what I assumed. So Olivia came over and everything was going good for the most part. She got along well with my family and my mom especially was nice to her. However, my grandmother decided she was in a nasty mood and started talking crap about her. She said that she didn't expect Olivia to be so dark and how she looked more African. She asked if she came from a good family and said if my grandfather was alive, he would not approve of her and it's better to date a girl who can speak Spanish since most black people won't even bother to learn it. She even said that my last girlfriend was much prettier than her. This is honestly blatantly untrue. Olivia is gorgeous and most people say so. She made sure not to make it obvious she was talking about her and didn't gesture to her at all and mostly faced the TV when she spoke. I was mortified and couldn't believe she was saying this. I told her to stop twice, but since I assumed Olivia didn't understand, I mostly brushed it off and tried to ignore her since I didn't want to make a scene and I didn't want to make it apparent to Olivia that she was talking about her. Olivia is the biggest sweetheart, but is really insecure and has suffered from anxiety in the past, and I just didn't want to make it worse. My mom told her to be quiet as well, but my grandmother just didn't give an F and continues with snide comments. To make things worse, my dad and brother just laughed at the absurdity of the situation. Oh, not a good look. Not a good look.
Dude, I would have snapped back. I'll be snapping back.
I don't think they really found it funny, but it was more of, there she goes again, crazy abuela type thing. Olivia acted pleasant for most of the night, but then suddenly claimed she had migraines and she needed to leave. She thanked them all, but left in a hurry. I already suspected she could understand some of what was said, and I felt terrible. After she left, I told my grandmother off for how she acted. I tried calling Olivia that night, but she ignored my calls until the next evening when she finally answered. Do you think she's going to be mad at OP?
I would imagine she is. However, you just immediately explain your situation where it's like, oh my God, if I knew you spoke Spanish, I would have like immediately been like way more upset.
I asked if she was okay, and she admitted that she took Spanish for 5 years, and although she has no confidence to speak it, her Spanish comprehension is fairly good. I apologized profusely, but she was angry. She was mad since I didn't tell her I had a discriminatory family. She was mad that my dad and brother laughed at her expense and was furious that I didn't defend her or stand up to my grandmother. I tried to explain the whole not wanting to cause a scene thing, but she didn't buy it at all. She said she felt like an because her friend told her a lot of Cubans are discriminatory, and she defended me so much and accused her friend of being bigoted knucklehead and how much I embarrassed her and made her feel like crap. So I just don't know how to fix this. She is furious at me and I understand why, but I was really serious with her and in love with her, and we work so well together. I don't want to lose her over this. I feel like she thinks my whole family are discriminatory a-holes as well, when it's definitely not the case. My abuela, but my family has no choice but to put up with her. My mom and dad do not have a discriminatory bone in their body, and my brother isn't either. I agree my dad and brother were crap for laughing at my grandmother's rants, but they didn't know what else to do and were more laughing at how obnoxious she was being. Is there any way I can possibly come back from this? Anyone have similar experiences? I just don't know what to do or how to make it up for her. She really is angry, and I feel like I hurt her a lot. And there are some comments.
In reality, you pick and choose your battles. That was not a battle to be had in that moment. With the information that he had about Olivia, with the information and the current context of the circumstances, I think maybe
he did say
I would have snapped back
no.
a little bit more at the dad and brother who were laughing. I'd be like, this is not funny.
Yeah.
This is not funny. Stop laughing.
Yeah.
All you can do is speak to the truth of the situation from your perspective and do it in a way that's honest.
And Ezekiel says she should be angry and know this is over.
It's fair. I mean, you're going to have to...
You might have to accept you fumbled.
Yeah.
Keon, what do you think the appropriate thing would be to do in this situation?
I would just be upset. Like, if it's to me, I don't care. But if it's to someone I care about and, like, they're being serious about it, I'd be like, chill, why are you saying that? Kind of thing. If you're going to be negative and toxic, no matter what, in any language, I'm not going to deal with it.
Comment 1, sorry, but regardless of whether she could understand or not, you didn't actually defend her, which is a little bit what we're saying.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
This post talks too much about her comprehension of the Spanish language rather than the fact that your grandmother is discriminatory and you should have felt the need to defend your girlfriend and take her out of that environment, whether or not she could understand. Didn't you want to leave after hearing your grandmother be so horrible? Didn't it make you mad? Screw making a scene. I'm with her on this. You can claim the rest of your family was laughing at your grandmother, not with her, but regardless, no one stood up for her. Disown your grandmother if you're serious about this girl. If not, let her go and find someone who will have enough respect for her not to put her in that position. My abuela, but my family has no choice but to put up with her. Why? Does she own all your houses and cars? What's wrong with, in a mutually comprehensible language, grandma, stop being discriminatory or shut up? Your family is discriminatory poops. You're relaxed about.
But okay, now,
and we have an update.
That comment is weird because I feel like that's exactly what OP did. OP in Spanish is going to grandma and being like, Grandma, stop saying that. Stop it.
But it wasn't enough.
And then she just still sits there and goes, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, Grandma, stop it. Stop it.
But
like,
we got an update. People gave me a really hard time in my original post, and it made me realize how much of a dumb butt I was being. I apologized profusely to Olivia and called out my extremely behavior and basically begged for forgiveness. He's on his knees. After a couple more days of being mad at me, she was willing to talk to my parents and my brother, who apologized and told her that they really loved her and that they didn't mean to hurt her. They tried to explain the situation with my grandmother and why she behaved the way she did, and they were just trying to minimize drama, but that what she was saying was wrong and they should have stood up to her. My mother got her a gift set from Bath & Body Works, costume jewelry, and chocolate to go along with the apology. So Olivia did forgive me and my family.
Good.
Which I am so relieved about because I really am crazy about this girl. I'm definitely not going to take this for granted. A week ago, my brother, Olivia, and I went to an amusement park, and my brother and her actually got along really well, and she's definitely convinced he doesn't secretly hate black people. I never thought my brother was discriminatory. When he was in middle school, he dated a black girl. He's only 15, so I definitely don't blame him for what happened. It was my dad's fault for laughing, but yeah, he really likes her and is glad she doesn't hate him. My mom invited Olivia to a beach with our family on Saturday. My abuela stayed at home. Good. And although she mostly stayed by me and my brother, she seemed to get along reasonably with my parents and seems to believe their apology, although she was a bit hesitant to go. By the way, you should never be hesitant to go to our podcast, OK Storytime, wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcast app. Just search OK Storytime.
Correct.
I have told my grandmother that if she wants to be actively part of her life, she must apologize to Olivia. I do think OP is doing everything right after the initial.
Yes.
I won't say wrong, but like not doing enough. After the initial, not doing enough.
All of this is informed by he didn't know his girlfriend could speak or understand the actual language. Of course, she could pick up on the vibes either way. But it's like the people who needed to apologize, which are the husband and the dad and the brother, are apologizing. Like, and also in the moment, those are the people that you actually check. Where it's like, if the dad and the brother are laughing, it's like, this is not funny. And you check them immediately. Those are the people you can check about that.
Yeah. My grandmother actually agreed to apologize.
Good.
But my girlfriend doesn't want to talk to her, and I told her I will not force her to be around her. But I did tell her that my grandmother is sorry for the way she behaved.
Fair.
So yeah, that's my update. I appreciated all the replies, no matter how harsh. It really made me realize my still have a lot of growing up to do, but I am really happy she took me back. And another comment, I'm happy for you that you didn't get dumped, but I feel sorry for your girlfriend. That's a crap load of family interaction for her. I've never been seriously offended by my boyfriend's family, and I don't have to see them as frequently as you're making your girlfriend see yours. You said yourself that your girlfriend was hesitant to go to the beach. Maybe cool it on inviting her to hang out with people that make her feel uncomfortable. And another reply says, as a black woman in an interracial marriage that's encountered this kind of effery, she'll never feel completely comfortable again. She may want to and may not discuss this event again, but it will always be somewhere in the back of her mind while dealing with his family and probably with OP. I personally wouldn't be eager or willing to spend time with his family again, but then again, there's no way I could forgive OP's lack of standing up for Olivia. Anyone in her position deserves so much more than that. If she were my friend, I'd be raising red flags, but I'd bet her loved ones already are. And comment 2. Might be nice to ask your grandma to put an apology in writing so your girlfriend has the choice to read it or not at her leisure. That means girlfriend isn't put on the spot and isn't forced into forgiving before she's ready. And that is where that story ends. I do feel like the comments at the end felt like, punching OP while he was already trying to make things right. I feel like he's making efforts to change and get better.
Yeah,